What's up, YouTube? Thanks for joining us today on Life of Compounding Interest. I play the lottery. I do. I also talk a decent amount about personal finance, saving, responsible spending. Those two things seem at odds. And in some ways, they can be. But for me, it's actually made a reasonable positive effect on just the way that I think about money. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about my relationship with the lottery. Growing up, I did not live in a place that had a lottery. And so to get a lottery ticket or do any kind of gambling, we had to cross state lines. I can remember Saturday mornings hanging out with my grandparents, and they would just say, "Hey, let's go buy some lottery tickets." We would jump in the car, we'd drive about an hour, we'd listen to music and chat the whole way. We got there, bought lottery tickets, maybe had some lunch, drove back doing the same thing. It was a great experience, great just time with people. Car rides are awesome for conversation and just getting to know people because eventually the silence just gets you and you have to talk to each other. But I loved it. And even when I buy a lottery ticket today, I think about those times. But the other side of that is I actually look at it from a numbers perspective. Now, I never expect to win. I mean, the odds are 1 in 300 million, basically. So, no, I'm not holding out hope for winning the lottery. But here's the thing: between 20 and 30% of every lottery ticket, the money that you spend on it, it goes to education. I love education, all for supporting those kind of things. And in some states, it can be up to 30% of the education budget that's coming from lotteries. I'm okay supporting that cause because while, between 60 and 70% go to the actual winnings, and the rest is just admin because, I mean, running the lottery isn't free. I'm okay with the way that money is divvied up because I also look at it and I say, you know what? I like money towards education. I think most education's underfunded anyway. But if I were to donate to certain charities, I couldn't expect that 20 to 30% is going to end up in the actual cause that I was donating to begin with. That's one of those things that I kind of have issue when it comes to charity and charitable giving is a lot of that money doesn't end up where it says it's going to end up. So I'm fine spending a little bit of money on that, but I write about this in the book a bit. When I go to gamble, it's an entertainment expense. Just like some people will spend a couple bucks on a phone game, or they do that impulse purchase at the register, they buy a couple candy bars, which can easily total up to $5 now. That is what I view the lottery as. Even if I went to a casino, which I also enjoy doing infrequently, I have a budget. I saved for it. It's entertainment. I'm expecting to part with that money. And so I try to maximize that. Have as much fun as I can, get as much as I can out of the experience. When I'm done, I walk away. That expectation alone, knowing that you're not going to win most likely, and seeing it as entertainment, whether physical being in the casino with all the bells and whistles or just buying a lottery ticket and waiting for the numbers to be drawn, that is the entertainment. That's the dopamine hit. So I do it responsibly. I don't go off and buy 10 numbers or anything like that. If I spend $100 a year on lottery tickets, I probably was moving around and traveling more than normal. But the benefit to playing the lottery isn't winning. It's really not. It's the thought that you can put into it. And you can buy a lottery ticket and not think anything of it. But I personally love the thrill of thinking, what would you do if you won? What would you do if you won? Let's say you won $500 million. What would that look like? Would you right away, as soon as that number came up, call to go collect your winnings? Or would you sit on it for a little while? Would you call a lawyer first? Who would you tell? Those kind of things have a lot of value just thinking about. If you won the lottery, who would you tell? Who do you trust enough? And who are you close enough to that you don't think would try to just immediately get in on that? Who would actually be excited for you? Those are important things to know. And then there's, you know, do you pay the taxes? Do you pay the taxes? For me, the answer is yeah. I was given an environment that allowed me to win all of this money. I might as well give it back. And I have to trust on some level that that money is going towards, states and municipalities, and that money actually goes towards improving the lives of my community in some way, form, or fashion. Do you take the lump sum, or do you take the annual payouts? Well, if you take the lump sum of lottery winnings, then you don't actually get the total amount. Are you responsible enough to invest it to maybe get the return to exceed what the original winnings could be? I read a story the other day, whether it's true or not really doesn't matter, about a guy who was a garbage man, won the lottery. And a few years later, he's back being a garbage man. It must have been a wild ride there for a few years, spending all of that money. But a lot of people that win the lottery, they take the large payout right up front, and they end up going bankrupt. I mean, it makes for good tabloids, but I don't think most people really know what to do with that money, and they never thought about it. So I really like thinking about it. I know a lot of people that have come into decent amounts of money, not lottery level, but they end up spending a lot of time and a lot of energy in minimizing the taxes and expenses that come with getting that kind of money. And it sounds exhausting to me, almost to the point where I've asked people, I'm like, did you actually save money when you accounted for the time and effort that you spent in this? Wouldn't you just be better off if you just paid the taxes? And one thing actually stumped me, and one of the responses was, if you actually saw the bill that was leaving and just going to the state, you'd probably think about it differently. And I might, depending on the sum of money, but at some point in time, I have to tell myself that I want to play by the rules. The rules are there for a reason, and I want to play by them. Whether I agree with them or not, whether I can skirt them or not, that's not the point. The point is that there are rules, they're set up for a reason, and if everyone follows the rules, then things tend to go a little bit better for everyone involved. I hold that pretty dear to my own moral code. And I think that if I won the lottery, to change because of that would be really disingenuous. Because money is really just an amplifier. If you've ever heard people talk about getting rich, it really does just amplify who they are. It doesn't change who they are, it just really shows it. It shows their good traits, it shows their bad traits. Me, I would probably take the annual payout for 30 some odd years, know that I've got a couple $1,000,000 hitting in the bank account, and do my best to spend it wisely. I always love this because if money was no object, what would you be doing? If you had all the money in the world, what would you do with that money? Would you have the big house and you travel and fly private and all that? Would you give most of it away? Would you spend your the rest of your life running charities and helping people trying to give back? Maybe it's somewhere in between. Would you do it yourself or would you pay someone to do it at that point? All of those are the questions that I find so much value in while I'm holding that lottery ticket, waiting for those numbers to be drawn. It really does help me decide for myself what I think a good life is. What I would do if I didn't have to hold down a job and, I have to make my mortgage payment and I have to put food on the table and the kids need clothes and all those things. What personality traits of mine would it actually amplify? Who would I still have in my life? How would the people in my life react? Those are great questions just to spend a little bit of time thinking about every now and then. For me, that is the benefit of the lottery. And it always makes me think about it's an old story. It's in the Old Testament, it's in the Torah. It's the story of the widow and Elisha. And I'm gonna butcher it and paraphrase it. So if you're interested in it, go read it. And if you're a biblical scholar, go easy on me. But essentially, there was this woman. She was a widow, and she was having some real financial trouble. Rent was coming due, and she didn't know if she could pay it. She had a family, and all she had was a little bit of olive oil. Now, olive oil worth something. You could probably sell it, or you could cook with it, and these are the choices that she was facing. And well, the prophet comes through town and gives her these instructions. It says, "Go and get as many vessels as you can, and just pour out of your container of olive oil. Just pour from that, and it's going to fill up all these different vessels." And as crazy as it sounds, right? She goes back, she gets her kids, tells them to go find all the pots and vessels that they can find, and they just start filling them up. And they're filling these vessels full of olive oil that they can sell, that it's worth something, it's got use, it's got purpose, and it just keeps flowing. Imagine that olive oil is just money, and it would keep flowing as long as you had something to put it in. Well, eventually one of the kids comes back and says, there's no more pots. We don't have anything else to put this in. And at that time, it stops flowing. No more. There's lots of interpretations of this, and it's a fun one to just think through. But my take is, look, the universe does not like waste. And God, whoever that is to you, doesn't want to give you more than you can handle. So yeah, sure, the oil could have kept flowing and floods the house and the neighborhood and ends up causing more problems than it's worth. So you have to keep your vessels as open as possible. And how that relates to playing the lottery is, what capacity do you have to actually put those things to good use? If you had all the money in the world, do you deserve it? Would you deserve it? And how you spent it? Because if you don't have the vessels to actually do that correctly, you end up like the garbage man, where you just go and you spend a bunch of money and you're right back where you started from. You're given this big blessing and you squander it. Because whether you're a person of faith or not, opportunities and blessings, they do come our way. And if we're not ready to receive them and use them, then we waste them. If you buy the lottery ticket and you win and you don't know what you would do with it, you will waste it. But the thing is you don't have to win the lottery to have that kind of life. I don't mean the kind of life with private jets and fancy cars and big houses. I mean the kind of life where you're doing stuff that matters, where you're putting all of your blessings to good use. Because you're blessed with things, multiple things. Just the fact that you're alive is a statistical impossibility, and that you are exactly who you are in the spot that you are right now. How do you use those things? And are you building a life that if you won the lottery, it wouldn't change who you are? Because if you really start thinking about how you would spend that lottery money versus how you spend your money today, you can see that money would change you. Would it be for the better? So I would love if you would drop your comments below. How would you spend your lottery money? If you won today, what's some of the things that you would do? How would you treat that money? If you just want to spend it all, no shame. It's your lottery ticket. But how would you? But I really do encourage you to walk away and think about all the variables that are in winning the lottery, because it's not just your bank account is flooded and you just need a vessel big enough to hold it. That's not it. It's all the tactics, it's the people, it's the strategy, it's what you can do on the back end of that, and what would you do if you had all the resources in the world. So yeah, interested to hear what you think. I love this thought experiment. If you do gamble, gamble responsibly, please. And yeah, let me know. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.